And I think you bring up a bigger point, and something I wanted to ask you about is faith under fire. So coming from the other side of this, right, as a former extreme liberal, and I don't mean a progressive, right? I've never been for gender affirming care for sex changes for kids. I've never been for late term abortions. But you and I would probably disagree about abortions, and I would give it a certain amount of time. But by the way, I understand you. I can understand your position. Sometimes on the left, the position is so crazy, I can't even understand it. Like, I've had conversations where it's like, yes, I would allow abortions at any point up until birth, even if the mom and baby are healthy. I'm like, I don't understand you. Can't wrap my head around your position. Mm-hmm. I can see, as a former hardcore liberal, that people on that side have felt like, oh, hold on. If you're religious, you're against gay marriage, and you're against, my choice, and you're against. And they see religion as this like authoritarian, oppressive, I don't know, like trying to dictate who can marry and who can do this and who can do that. But yet they have been the ones now attacking people of faith, silencing their voices, going after them regularly, attacking their religion, attacking them as people, are you experiencing that? I know that you're on Fox and you have this platform, but are you seeing that? Are you feeling that?
I do see it in every level on both sides. And I think if you watch The Chosen, it is such a great show. I recommend it for everybody. It is the guy, Jonathan Rumi, who plays Jesus. He does a phenomenal job of showing the love that the church should wrap around everybody. Sinners, we're all sinners. There's only one perfect individual that ever walked this earth, and that's Jesus Christ. So however you feel about these hot topic issues, it's just, if you watch The Chosen, you will see how Jesus, no matter what you did, he didn't focus on that. He focused on loving you, being accepted, following him. And he just teaches it. Sean and I will watch it. My daughter watches some episodes. Some are a little scary for her, but, and I don't let her watch them, but I just love the Bible, because in every scripture, it is just about opening the doors to everybody, and then let God do the rest. And he just wants you to accept him. And so I think, like, when we talk about, I was reading this morning that Texas is now allowing the 10 Commandments to be placed in every classroom now, back in the classroom. And Sean and I talk about this all the time, that what went wrong? What went wrong in our government? The 50s and the 60s, our parents, people were good. Even in high school, people weren't faced with the same pressures and the same stresses that they are now. And reading the Bible, saying prayers, the Pledge of Allegiance, that was all necessary in the 50s and 60s in school. And no one batted an eye. It was just accepted. It was normal. And then the Supreme Court got involved and changed everything. And now we're seeing violence and suicide and school shootings. We're talking about issues that our little children shouldn't be talking about. I agree with you. When you're 18 and you're an adult, do whatever you want. But when you're in third grade and your child is struggling with all of this, how do they even know what this is? I have a third grader, my daughter. We haven't talked about gender affirming care. We haven't, but I know that we haven't had to deal with some of those issues. I do know people that have, and their children are asking them questions about maybe wanting to be a different sex. But are they hearing that from the schools? That was never a thing in the 50s and 60s. Mm-hmm. Why is it so prevalent, especially in New York City? It's almost something that kids are talking about in school, and you're not cool if you don't experiment, or if you don't try it, or if you aren't talking about it constantly. So is there a correlation? Have we gotten away from faith? Have we gotten away from the church so much that our society has changed, our messaging has changed? If we have, it's very scary, because I can only speak from my experience. I did a lot of things wrong. I have sinned a lot in my life, many things I'm not proud of. That's why I need Jesus. That's why I'm so glad my parents raised me in the church. No matter what your religion is, just to have a God that centers you. And for me, it's Jesus Christ. Going to church every Sunday was just a given. I grew up in the South. My friend Megan was Catholic. My friend Cindy was Methodist. My friend Lindsay was Baptist. I grew up in the Episcopal and the Lutheran churches, depending on where we lived. When I would spend the night at one of their houses, my dad would either pick me up and take both of us to church with my whole family, or we had to go to church with them. It's just something that families do in the South. And back then, we didn't have soccer games on a Sunday morning. No way would you do that. My dad was the basketball coach at our local Catholic school. He would have basketball practice in the afternoon, and the parents complained about it because Sunday's a day of rest. So dad had to stop doing practice on Sunday. That was the day for God. So we've gotten so far away from that. That would never happen in New York City. It probably doesn't happen in South Carolina anymore either. You just are expected to be on that field. And kids just, I think what's helped me be grounded. And I did have a salvation experience when I was 21 years old in college. I was partying all the time, going out constantly, drinking. And then one day I just said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be more like her, more like Sarah, more like Michelle. And I got involved with Fellowship of Christian Athletes, where all the football players and all the athletes would come and speak. We had a praise and worship band. We always had a great guy that would come, or woman come and give a little sermon to us. And I was like, this is real. This is who I want to be. I don't want to gossip anymore. I don't want to party every night. I really just want to be a better person and work on myself. Look at this. I don't deserve to be on Fox News.
As the temp search arrives, I get that familiar urge to refresh my closet. But I am done wasting money on trendy pieces that I wear once, which is why I'm obsessed with Quints. The clothes are timeless, elevated, built to last, no insane markup. I'm talking about 100% European linen shorts and dresses that start at just $30. Italian leather platform sandals, luxe swimwear that looks straight off a runway but costs half of what you'd expect. Quints partners directly with top-tier factories, cutting out the middleman so you get designer quality at a price that actually makes sense. And they only work with ethical, responsible manufacturers who care about people and the planet. Personally, I stocked up on the linen tees and the tanks, and believe it or not, a killer summer dress. Occasionally, I do wear dresses. And honestly, it finally feels like my wardrobe matches my standards. Upgrade your wardrobe at quince.com. Luxury should never mean compromise. Team, give your summer closet an upgrade with Quince. Go to quince.com/Jillian for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Jillian to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Jillian.
There's so many individuals that would do a much better job than I would. I think God put me there so that I would talk about my faith, and I've loved it. And Fox has allowed me to do that, but that's our audience. So I just, Sean and I just are, worried about, we're raising our kids to go to church. And yes, you're going to have struggles, but that is what always makes us come back to doing the right thing. I'm always convicted in my head. What would Jesus say about this? One day I'm going to have to face him in heaven, and I want to make him proud. I want to be able to say I ran the race and I did it well. And I want to be able to meet him in heaven. So, and my parents' influence, just from character and discipline and how they raised us to do our chores. Nobody's perfect at this, but if you know your children, if you're constantly doing this with them and setting an example, then they'll carry that for the rest of their lives, and it'll change generations.
Okay, I want to push back on you because I know the argument about the Bible in class, or the 10 Commandments. Mm-hmm. Number one is going to be separation of church and state exists for a reason. Number two, what if I'm a Jewish kid or a Muslim kid in that school? And then the question I would imagine is, how are you presenting it? In other words, are you saying there's no such thing as dinosaurs? Or are you saying these are good morality tales? Because these are the arguments that I've arguably been a part of, or at least heard consistently throughout my life. And then right. I see the attack on people of faith instead of just asking these questions.
Yeah, I understand that. I don't know the answer to that. I chose for my daughter to go to a school of faith, and it is a private school because that is important to me. I wanted her to have chapel. I wanted her to hear about Jesus at school. I wanted that combination. I wanted a smaller environment. I live in New York City. The schools in my neighborhood are not great. I wouldn't feel comfortable sending her there. So that was a choice I made as a parent, but I understand what you're saying. It is Texas. You're going to have more conservatives there. Would it make a difference if you have the 10 Commandments on the wall in your classroom, if you don't know the Lord at all? Maybe not. but maybe so. Maybe someone reads that and says, I read this on the wall in my classroom constantly, do not murder.
Yeah.
Maybe that saves someone from murdering or having an affair one day. I don't know. I do know that the 10 Commandments are clearly very important to me and to my family. So I would love to see them on the wall. But, some schools have Christmas trees and menorahs. Maybe you just have different symbols that represent different faiths, and maybe that would be okay. But then where do you draw the line? So
what I love
I
is
see what you're saying.
The morality of it, though. If you didn't phrase it as a religion, couldn't everybody agree? Like, don't lie, don't kill people,
True.
don't be a bad person. Which,
you would think.
As people have educated me about religion and their faith and the ways in which it impacts their life every single day and gives them purpose and gives them guidance and saved them at difficult times, whether it was an interview with Michael Franzese when he was in solitary facing the rest of his life in jail and he found God, or you talking to me about being 21 in college and having this quite literal come to Jesus. I'm inspired and I'm extremely curious. But then where you would lose me is I'd be like, well, Ainsley, I could, not that this matters. I'm just saying for the difference, the war on faith, I think, is where people have a difficult time reconciling different religions, but the morality piece is irrefutable. And the lessons, when people quote scriptures to me, now I'm a little bit confused about the Old Testament versus the New Testament, but when people quote scriptures to me, I'm like, oh, well, that's a brilliant piece of philosophy. Where you would lose me is the science part. I would say, like, I don't know, I'm not with you there. And we could debate it in an amicable way, agree to disagree if in fact we disagree. But the fact that people can't talk about these things is what's really upsetting and alarming to me. And that's one of the reasons that I am so grateful people like yourself are willing to engage in these conversations with me. Does it bother you when somebody is not like, I don't know anything about religion. Like, Jesus, I'm like, honestly, Ainsley, know nothing. But I respect that, how important he is in your life. Does it bother you that I don't get it? Is it offensive?
It doesn't. It bothers me only, if I can be honest, for your soul. I love you so much. I want you to have that void in your heart full and filled like he did my heart. And obviously you've been so blessed and God has his hand on your life. And we all see that, whether or not you do or not. But I also have it because I grew up in it. And then it just clicked. All of those Sundays of going to church with my family, then it just clicked for me. And many of my friends who made fun of me, who didn't want to be my friend anymore after that, I did lose a lot of friends. I mean, who wants to go out with this Bible beating girl now? And they don't want to go partying with me anymore because I'm going to be like their designated driver and talk about Jesus the whole time. So I get it. I loved them. I prayed for them for years and years, my sorority sisters. And so when someone tells me they don't understand it or they don't know it, and I have people at work, I just love on them.
All right, tell me the truth. How many different beauty potions do you have sitting on your bathroom counter right now? Because if it's more than just Vibrance Super C Serum, then listen up. Because the ingredients in this one bottle can replace your day creams, eye creams, night creams, neck creams, wrinkle creams, and dark spot reducers. It's made in the U.S. with the highest quality ingredients, including vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, vitamin B5, vitamin E. Super C Serum delivers noticeable results. So simplify your skincare routine, get a healthier complexion, minimize wrinkles and age spots with Vibrance. And if you don't find it better than your current skincare, you'll get a full refund. So go to Vibrance.com/Jillian to save up to 37% off, and you get free shipping. That's Vibrance, Vibrance, Vibrance.com/Jillian.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And make sure to let me know what guests you want to see on in the future.